Doesn't anyone ever wonder, like, whatever happened to all the gold they found in the earth in America? Like, that gold belongs to the people of America, right? But yet, somebody seems to feel like they somehow have a claim to it, right? People buy the land because they know there's gold and then they just steal all the gold for themselves. Like, you know how much gold has been found in America? Like, thousands of tons of gold. Like, so much gold has been found. Where is it all? All of a sudden, our currency is not backed by gold, but it's backed by nothing. So now someone basically stole all of our gold, all of our riches, all of the beautiful buildings and stone architecture and jewels and things that were in the early 1900s that were in America have been plundered, literally plundered and looted. Like, they came in during the Depression when people weren't paying attention, and they would close cities down and they would literally plunder towns and cities that had huge buildings, beautiful architecture, and they stole it all. They stole the architecture, they stole the buildings. People go, where'd all these buildings go? They were stolen, they were plundered. They were plundered for the materials that were used to build these buildings. The things that were created, they used those materials and they took them. They looted America. I mean, we're $37 trillion in debt. Where'd all the gold go? Where'd all the architecture go? Where'd all these beautiful buildings go? I mean, we have found oil, we have found gold, we have found all these precious resources, but yet we're still somehow $37 trillion in debt, paying 30% interest on our credit cards. We're paying outrageous electricity bills, right? We're paying $4 a gallon in gasoline. We're taxed like never before. Never before. I mean, our taxes right now, you got income taxes, sales taxes, state taxes, city taxes, property taxes, school taxes, federal tax, fire tax. We're paying Bronx sewer tax when we don't even live in the Bronx. I mean, we're paying sales tax, we're paying surcharges, tolls, tickets. You got to pay to drive, you got to pay for insurance, you got to pay for gas, you got to pay for absolutely all these essentials, food. You got to pay a mortgage, you got to pay interest, you need a cell phone, you need internet. I mean, you need subscriptions. It's just like by the time everything's paid and done, just necessities, you got no money left. You're borrowing money at interest. And these people are making $3 million a day just in interest payments. America, as a total, we pay $1 trillion every year in interest. $1 trillion in interest every year. I mean, Trump, thank God, he had made all the, within a year, he made a bunch of deals with all these countries, and thank God there's $17 trillion in revenue that's going to be coming into America over the next couple of years. Thank God. But if a war breaks out, that money is going to be used for a war. I mean, Israel wants us to go to war. Israel's been trying to get us to go into war. They told us that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. That was bullshit. We ended up going to war for no reason. They got rid of Saddam Hussein only for the Taliban to take over. Now Iraq is in a worse position than they were before Saddam Hussein. Same thing with Libya, right? They had Gaddafi ousted, and Libya was a self-sustaining country, just like Germany was when Hitler was in power. And they didn't like that, and Gaddafi was killed, and now Libya is a third world country. It was like a beautiful country. Iran, again, was a beautiful country before 1979. It was like one of the most beautiful countries in Europe, in the Middle East. It was, women were free to do what they wanted. They got education. Celebrities went there. People vacationed there. It was free. It was like people loved to go to Iran. You look at videos of Iran in the 60s and 70s, it was a beautiful place until the Islamic people took it over in 1979. And since then, Iran has been the terrorist center of the world. And it seems like lately the communists realize they can't beat the West alone. So the Islamic radicals have now teamed up with the communists. The Democrats also can't seem to get a foothold or fight independently. So the Democrats are now teaming up with the communists and the Islamic radicals and the LGBTQ community. They're trying to just get anybody and everybody on board with that on their side because they need as much help as they can get. And they've teamed up with people like Mamdani, who's a Islamic radical. He won't denounce Sharia law. He's, a Sharia Muslim, even though he pretends not to be. He's a communist. He believes in communism. Who created communism? The Zionists, Jewish Zionists. I mean, people say Jewish, but it's not really Jewish. It's more like Zionism. Zionism is a radical political movement started by the Jewish people. They're the ones who created communism in 1916. They gave $10 million to Vladimir Lenin, who was exiled in Switzerland in 1916. The Russian Tsar exiled Lenin, and he was sent to Switzerland. Well, during World War I, Germany was fighting Russia on the Eastern Front, and they were fighting France and Britain on the Western Front. So they thought, well, if we can get Russia out of the war, we can concentrate all our efforts on the Western Front. So they gave Vladimir Lenin $10 million, which is equivalent to over $300 million today. They sent him over to Russia to start an armed revolution. He was successful. They ended up killing Nicholas Tsar II, his entire family, overthrew the government, and communism was born. Well, after World War I, the Bolsheviks, who took over, ended up killing 30 to 60 million white Christians, destroyed every church in Russia. Every white Christian person they can get their hands on were murdered, executed, tortured, arrested, or exiled. And as Hitler was coming to power, he knew the Bolsheviks were doing this. He knew the communists were doing these things to the white Christian community in Russia. And it made Hitler sick to his stomach. Because Germany were the German Marxists, the Jewish Marxists, controlled by like the Rothschilds, were the ones who gave Lenin the $10 million to go and overthrow the Russian Tsar. And it made Hitler sick, knowing that Germany was responsible for the creation of communism and Bolshevism. He felt personally responsible for all these white Christians being murdered and killed, all these churches being destroyed, because Germany had given this guy Lenin $10 million to overthrow the Russian Tsar. And if Germany never did that, communism would never have been born. Nicholas Tsar II wouldn't have been killed, and Russia would have stayed a Christian nation. Instead, it went from a Christian nation to a Jewish Bolshevik nation. It was actually Zionism. They're Jewish, but they believe in Zionism. Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, he's a proud Zionist, right? I'm not sure why he's proud to be a Zionist exactly, but this is how communism was created. It was created by the Marxist Zionists in Germany, using $10 million and Vladimir Lenin, Joseph Stalin, Trotsky, and other Jewish Zionists at that time to overthrow Nicholas Tsar II. And they were successful. Russia pulled out of World War I. Then Germany can concentrate solely on the West. And when the German politicians ended up surrendering, the German military were livid. The generals, the soldiers, they didn't understand why they surrendered. They were 50 miles outside of Paris. They were winning the war. Britain and France had nothing left in their reserves. And the German military knew that, any week now, we're going to take France. We're going to take Paris. But then for some reason, the people back in Germany, the politicians, the bureaucrats, decided, we're going to surrender and give half the empire away and agree to all these ridiculous terms. And Germany was like, this is crazy. They're blaming everything on us. I mean, the whole start of World War I had to do with a Serbian guy killing a prince from Austro-Hungary. I mean, one assassination started World War One. That sounds a little absurd. We've had plenty of assassinations and it didn't start a world war. Why would some prince from Austro-Hungary who got shot by a teenager in Serbia, why would that start World War One? I mean, World War One was invented, was created, was pushed, was political. And as a result, what, 50, 60 million people died in World War One? World War Two, 60 million people were killed. Prior to World War II, the Russians killed 60 million people just in Russia alone. I mean, the Belgian king, King Leopold in Belgium, he killed 20 million people in the Congo, just trying to get rubber, just trying to steal rubber from the Congo. He had 20 million Africans killed. The Belgian king, the king of Belgium, King Leopold, 20 million people dead. Also, during the Japanese War, when we were fighting Japan in World War II, I don't know if anyone heard of the Doolittle raid, but Colonel Doolittle, he flew from an aircraft carrier, these army bombers, and he took off. He bombs Tokyo. But after he bombs Tokyo, they land in China because China was on our side at that time. They weren't communists yet. And China was helping us, we were helping China, so against the Japanese. So when Colonel Doolittle lands in China, the Japanese find out that the Chinese helped the Americans. And as a result, the Japanese murdered, killed, raped, and tortured 250,000 Chinese civilians. 250,000 Chinese civilians were killed and murdered simply because they helped Americans bomb Japan. So when you look at all these atrocities throughout the world, you think to yourself, okay, Germany allegedly killed 6 million people. They weren't all Jewish, even though the Jewish people want to tell everyone they were all Jewish. They weren't all Jewish. They were gypsies, they were criminals. I mean, we have 15 million people in prison here in America. Does anyone call us Nazis? Does anyone call us horrible? No. They had 6 million people basically in prison. Political people, traitors, people committed of treason, gypsies, people that were criminals, rapists, murderers. You know, yeah, there were Jewish people there, but Jewish people had the opportunity to leave. Jewish people had the opportunity to flee, and they did. Millions of them did. Now remember, there were only 15 million Jews in the world. There was only 500,000 Jews living in Germany when World War II broke out. But yet somehow there were 6 million killed during World War II. I mean, you have to kind of question that. Like, if there's only 500,000 Jews in Germany at the breakout of World War II, and most of them fled Germany, how is it that 6 million Jews were killed in Germany? And if all these people were cremated, how did they know they were Jewish? How did they know who they were? Right? They sit there and say, like, these people were gassed and cremated and all this shit. Well, how did you come to the conclusion that 6 million were killed if they were all turned to ash? How did you count them exactly? Did you ask these people, hey, what was your religion? How did that work? Did you have the names of all these people that were just a pile of ash? Did you know who these people were? Never mind their religion. And it's funny because every news article that you read from 1916, from World War I onwards, every newspaper, 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews. Every title, every time they speak about Jewish people, 6 million Jews need help in the Ukraine. 6 million Jews are fleeing Europe. 6 million Jews in America need help. 6 million, it's always the number 6. And then in World War II, 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. It's like, there weren't even that many Jewish people living in Germany during the time. It's just the dumbest shit ever. You know, and the Soviet Union invaded Poland, just like Germany did. Nobody thinks it's possible that the Soviet Union, who was already killing Christians in the millions before World War II, nobody thinks it's a possibility that the Soviet Union created a lot of these concentration camps for themselves, and then after the war, when we find the concentration camps, they conveniently blame it on the Nazis. The Nazis were like, we didn't gas anybody. What are you talking about? So this whole idea of the gas chambers, there's never been a gas chamber actually found. Anything that's called a gas chamber doesn't have any resemblance of a gas chamber. It doesn't even have the technology of a gas chamber. So who really created this whole propaganda about gas chambers and 6 million people being killed? And how would you be able to count 6 million people if they were all cremated, if they were all turned into ash? I mean, sure, if they were all buried in coffins, you can count 6 million. But if they were all cremated and turned into ash, how could you sit there and say there were 6 million? It's just not logical. It just doesn't make sense. It's like the Earth's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. If the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, then when I'm hovering in a helicopter, how come the ground underneath me is not moving? Right? If I'm flying an airplane, how come the runway doesn't move as I'm trying to approach the runway? If we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, why is the North Star always in the same place? If we're rotating around the sun at 400,000 miles an hour, we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, we're rotating at 66,000 miles an hour. How is it possible that every night I could see Orion's belt in the sky, I could see the North Star in the sky, the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, all the stars are always in the same place every night, but yet we're spinning and we're rotating and we're flying through space, but the same star constellations are in the sky night after night after night? How could that be? Just common sense. Forget about all the fucking, anomalies and atmospheric lighting and this and that and all these terms they conveniently come up with. Just common sense tells you that there's no way we could be spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. How could you track a comet moving through space if we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? How could you keep focused on a comet when you see a video of them searching this comet through 3i Atlas, for example? You see space, you see all the stars, they're not moving, but the comet's moving, right? But if we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, that means that the stars should be moving. That means that everything in the sky should be spinning as we spin. What, the stars spin with us now? It doesn't make any sense. It's, I don't know. To me, it's not brain science. It's not that hard. But for other people, they're like, oh no, it's a conspiracy. It's not true. Da, da, da. Why would they lie? Well, I don't know. NASA gets $65 million a day. Maybe that's why. But, I mean, shit's just fucked up. Like, we've been lied to about everything. World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Gulf War, 9/11, moon landing, JFK assassination. It's all bullshit. MLK, the Bobby Kennedy assassination, all of it. It was all done by us. It was all planned by us. There's always an agenda. It's always about money. It's always a small group of people that want to get ahead or get wealthy at the expense of everyone else. All these young men go into war, they die, they suffer, they struggle, just so a certain group of people in their suits and their tuxedos can get fucking filthy rich. I mean, come on. The Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, the Kennedys, the Rothschilds. How is it that they have all this money while everyone else is broke? I mean, they say the Rothschilds are worth like $500 trillion. Really? I mean, that's a lot of money, no? I mean, they have looted and plundered America. America right now, we should be sitting pretty. We shouldn't be paying interest. America should be a rich country. Its people should be rich. With the gold that we find, the oil, the weapons that we sell, the imports, the exports, this, that, tariffs. We should be a rich country. And yet, I look around and every house needs work. People can't afford to fix their house. The prices of the homes keep going up and up. Yet the houses aren't getting fixed. I mean, look at my house. I can't even put siding on my house, but yet they tell me my house is worth double than it was 5 years ago. How's that be? My house is 5 years older. I haven't done shit to it, but yet it's worth double? Why is it worth double? What made it worth double? It needs siding, it needs insulation, the whole thing needs to be gutted, but it's worth double? So why? So you could charge me more in property tax, charge me more in school tax, fire tax? I mean, they're charging us $17,000 a year to live in this house. And if we don't pay it, we lose the house. Even though the house was purchased outright in 1952 for $15,000, the same house that we're living in today, 73 years later, we're paying $17,000 a year in taxes. And if we don't pay the taxes, we lose the house. An ancestral home that we've been in for 73 years, we can lose the home if we don't pay the damn taxes. And the taxes just keep going higher and higher and higher. Electricity bills keep getting more and more. Gas prices, food prices. But yet, our jobs aren't paying us anymore. There's no pensions anymore. There's no unions. You're not getting raises. Everyone's trying to pay you as little as possible to work as much as possible. How are we supposed to sustain this? How are our children supposed to sustain this? I mean, today, if I lost the house that we live in, how would I be able to afford to live in another house? I wouldn't be able to buy a new house. I wouldn't be able to find a down payment, get a mortgage, pay the taxes. It's all too much. I mean, thank God the house is paid off. Thank God we're only paying taxes. But if we had to pay a mortgage and the taxes and the electricity, we wouldn't be able to afford it. And we're making over 6 digits a year. Still, it doesn't matter. Can't get ahead. Can't get ahead. I mean, we make more money than any of our ancestors ever made, and yet we cannot save a dollar. They steal every fucking penny they can. They just keep taking, and we just keep sitting here complaining, like I'm doing right now, complaining. Nothing gets done. Nobody does anything to fix it. Trump's been in office almost a year, and I'm still paying $3.79 a gallon in gas. My taxes haven't changed. I still have fucking Pablo Escobar living over there next to me. Nobody does shit about it. Nobody gives a fuck. He's selling drugs. He's fucking got an illegal construction business. He's got illegal workers. Everything he buys or has in that house is either stolen or bought with illegal money. Does anyone care? No. Do the police do anything? No. I've reported it to ICE. They don't do anything because nobody gives a shit. Guy's got 6 cars in his driveway, 2 vans for construction purposes, which are illegal. Nobody cares. He's got them registered as passenger vans, yet he uses them for construction, which is illegal. You can't have commercial vehicles in a residential area. Does anyone do anything? No. But me, I'm an American citizen, right? When my van was in the driveway, the town would threaten me that I can't have a van in the driveway, right? When I took my license plates off my van, they said I couldn't have a van in the driveway with no license plates because it has to be a registered car. But yet these people could have unregistered vehicles, no problem. They could have commercial vehicles registered as passenger vehicles, no problem. I mean, everyone in this neighborhood does all the same shit that I've done, but I get threatened because I'm a citizen. Because they could take me to court. They can't take an illegal to court because they're illegal. That would just start a whole shitstorm. Oh, you're illegal. Da, da, da. Oh, so they just go after the citizen, the taxpayer, the guy who works, the guy who was born here, right? But the people who don't speak English, who are in this country illegally, raising everyone's taxes with that monstrosity over there, that Home Depot special with their plastic siding and their plastic windows. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Anything they want. They're trafficking people. They got illegal workers. They got all sorts of... I mean, this dude was taking pictures of people's cars. In the middle of the night, he would walk around the neighborhood taking pictures of Mercedes, BMWs. Why is he taking pictures of cars in the neighborhood in the middle of the night? Unless he's up to no good. Right? We file a police report. What do the police do? Nothing. Greenburgh Police are the most corrupt police department probably in all of Westchester County. I mean, they are the worst. I mean, I've had orders of orders of protection violated, and when they show up, they do nothing. But if I violate an order of protection, they take me to jail, right? But if my ex-wife violates an order of protection, they're asking her for her phone number, trying to get in her pants. That's the way the Greenburgh police work. They don't enforce any laws unless they can kick someone's ass or if they can arrest somebody. They just want to deal with violence and pulling out their gun if they can. But anything that has to do with domestic anything, they don't want to be bothered. Unless they can kick some guy's ass, right? If a woman's beating up a dude, it's funny. But when a dude's beating up a girl, they send up 6, 7 cops ready to throw down and beat the guy up, right? But when the girl's beating on the guy, ha ha ha, it's funny. It's a big joke. Like that's their mentality. They're so fucking corrupt. They make so much money. They have 20-year pensions. They steal so much tax dollars from this town. It's sickening. It's sickening. While EMS are volunteer, fire departments are volunteer, and the police are getting all the money. Police get millions of dollars every year. Their budget goes up $500,000. For what? They don't prevent any crime. They show up after the fact. After the crime's been committed, they show up. So what do they need all this money for? They're not preventing anything. They don't patrol our neighborhood. I mean, our speed limit in front of my house is 25 miles an hour. People are speeding up and down my street all day long. You think they put a speed bump? Nah. They're going to wait for a kid to get killed or somebody to get killed first, and then maybe they'll put a speed bump. But someone has to get killed before they take action because they're reactive. They're not proactive, right? They react to things rather than trying to be proactive and prevent things from happening. The police are paid by the people, yet they work for the politicians and the prosecutor. So if they work for the politician and the prosecutor, then they should be paid by the politicians and the prosecutor, because they clearly don't work for the people. They're clearly not protecting the people from unconstitutional laws and regulations like they're supposed to. They've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, but yet they don't do it. They don't do it. They follow what their boss tells them because they want to keep their paycheck, keep their benefits, keep their pension, but they're not working for the people. So why are the people paying their salary? Why are the people's taxes going to the police department if they don't work for the people? If they work for the politicians and if they work for the prosecutor, then they should be paying for the police's pensions and their benefits and their pay, not the taxpayer. Because police are only there to give us tickets, make our lives miserable, right? They leave the illegals alone because it's too much work for them. They go after just citizens only because they can get money from the citizens. They know who the citizens are, so that's okay. So they can come after us, but they don't go after the illegals. And when the politicians say, lockdown, mandates, masks, can't go to work, can't be outside, can't be inside, the police come through the neighborhood yelling and screaming at everybody to go in the house or come in the house. You got to put on a mask. You better do this. You better do that. They come to the store, kick you out of a store because you refuse to wear a mask. Who are they working for? They're not working for the people. They're working for the politicians, the corrupt, fraudulent politicians, the corrupt prosecutor who cares about their career and getting ahead. And the town prosecutor tells the police, don't arrest people for this, don't arrest people for that, because I don't want to be bothered with that. I just want big glorifying cases that's going to help my career. That's why the police never arrest anybody for doing anything. I mean, the guy living next door, he's committing at least 10 different felonies. They don't bother him one bit because he's illegal. If I was breaking 10 felonies, they'd be knocking down my door, storming my house. It's such a double standard. It makes me sick to my stomach. Sick, just nauseous. And when I see these police rolling around, sitting in parking lots, hanging out, playing on their cell phone, doing nothing, it's just appalling. It's appalling. And then when you do need them, they show up with a fucking attitude like you're bothering them, like you're an fucking inconvenience. I mean, we don't need the fucking Greenburgh police. right? Citizens can protect themselves. The police don't protect us anyway. So what the fuck do we need the police for? So they could fill out a fucking police report after someone's been murdered, after someone's been raped, after someone's car's been stolen? Like, what good are you at that point? I don't need a fucking police report. I need to be protected from this happening in the first place. But you don't protect people, right? You just write up reports after the crime's been committed. So what the fuck are we paying you for? So you could sit at a construction fucking area, 3 cop cars playing on your phone all day, blocking a lane with your lights on, and that's what you're getting paid $60 an hour to do? Getting paid time and a half, collecting bigger money for your pension so you could sit at a construction site all day with your flashy lights playing on your phone? Like, anyone could do that job. Why do you need to have a cop there with flashy lights? I'm sure there's plenty of cars with flashy lights. Why do we need to have a police officer? We don't. It's just a way for them to steal more tax dollars. And at some point, we have to put an end to it. Because our taxes are just going to keep going up and up and up. The police are going to keep demanding more and more money. And we have to say, no. No. Enough's enough. You don't prevent crime. You don't work for the people. Enough's enough. Fuck you. Deal with the money you have. Or don't. Just quit. Close the department down. Who cares? Because you're useless anyway. You do nothing. You do nothing for the people. You do nothing for this town. You don't help anyone. You don't save lives. I mean, I was a paramedic for 20 years. I saved dozens of lives, and I have nothing. A cop goes through his whole career, doesn't save a life, never pulls his gun, and he gets a pension and benefits, and fucking, he's glorified for the rest of his life. He can break any law he wants because he's a cop, right? Never saved a life, never did anything spectacular. I've saved dozens of lives as a paramedic. I've been awarded for saving lives. I was awarded for evacuating a children's hospital. What do I get? Nothing. Not a pension, not benefits, nothing. I can't even get my disability. That's how they treat paramedics. There's nothing for paramedics. Nothing. I went to college, giving medications, saving people's lives. I wasn't an EMT. I was a paramedic. Like, I was giving over 50 different types of medications, intubating people, putting in IVs, taking blood, shocking people, doing invasive procedures in the back of a moving vehicle, putting myself in harm's way, day in, day out, rain, snow, sleet. What do I have? After 20 years, what do I have? Nothing. I can't even get my disability, like I said. It's a fucking shame. It's a shame. It's shameful that they treat people this way. I mean, you asked me to come to 9/11. I went down to Ground Zero on my own because that's what we were told to do. Do I have any protection? No. If I get sick or hurt, does anyone look out for me? No. Who cares about the paramedics, right? They're a dime a dozen. I mean, we're a fucked up society. We treat people just fucking horribly. We treat the elderly horribly. We treat children horribly. We treat paramedics terribly. We treat teachers terribly. And we wonder why everyone's angry. We wonder why people are pissed. We wonder why shit's fucked up. You got your fucking priorities all backwards, people. All backwards. And nothing's ever going to change because of all these corrupt people, all these corrupt politicians. I mean, someone needs to go into the town of Greenburgh and just overthrow the government and start over, because the town of Greenburgh has lost everything. It's lost its whole purpose. Their whole purpose now is just steal money. That's it. I mean, our roads are shit. Employees, the town employees are shit. They hire all these uneducated minorities that, you know, come and go. They get hired, they get fired. Even our post office. I mean, you had to see the girl delivering our mail the other day. She was eating while she's touching the mail, screaming and yelling at neighbors. She had a friend with her. She took the license plate off the vehicle so people don't know who, you know, people can't report her. Well, I spoke to her supervisor, and I'm hoping she got fired. But it's just like everywhere you look, every government agency is full of shit. Medicaid's broke, Medicare's broke, Social Security's broke, the post office is broke. I mean, every government institution is running a deficit. Every single one. If you could tell me one government agency that doesn't have a deficit, I'd be shocked. Everything run by the government is in debt. But yet UPS could make a profit, FedEx can make a profit, DHL can make a profit, but the post office is always in debt, billions of dollars in debt. Why is that? Because it's mismanaged. Because they steal. Every government institution is corrupt. Every single one. Which is why we need to start the fuck over. We need to start with a clean slate and just start over. Because there's too many laws, too many regulations, too much government, too many people saying you can't do this, you can't do that. You got local laws, county laws, state laws, federal laws. It's just absurd. It's absurd. Who the fuck can live like this? Who can live like this? I mean, I feel terrible for children these days. I truly do. I mean, these children are going to grow up and they're just going to struggle and have so much debt, and they're not going to own anything, and it's just going to be terrible. God bless the children, because they're going to have such a fucked up time at everything. I hope they're strong enough, but they're all raised today to be passive and appeasement, and don't say this and don't say that. You have to be diplomatically correct. So if that's the mentality of the children, shit's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. Because the dumber the kids are, they're going to grow up to become dumb adults, and it's going to be even easier to steal even more money until eventually we're bankrupt. I mean, we're already bankrupt. America's bankrupt. The federal government shut down right now because we have no money. $37 trillion in debt. Okay, well, good luck to y'all.